Hello there, sixth graders, and welcome to a quick little how-to on the Unit 1 discussion exploring cause and effect. In your tutorials in Unit 1, you've been learning a little bit about what cause and effect is. This is a definition. So it says a cause is an action or event that leads to other events taking place. An effect is a result or outcome of another action that caused it. For example, in this picture, there are ripples in the water because water dropped into the puddle. One affected the other. So, for example, we've got this picture of this poor old grandma, and she's sweaty and hot and tired. She's flushed, and why is that? Well, because it's a hot day, so it's causing her to maybe feel faint and hot and nasty sweaty, right? The other example, the man's umbrella was ripped from his hands. Well, why? That wouldn't happen without what? The wind. It's a windy day, stormy day. The umbrella wouldn't just fly out of his hands unless the wind was there. So that's two examples of cause and effect. One thing leads to another. Okay, so your discussion topic is to think about a rule that you must follow at school or at home. If you think of somewhere else, like on the roads or in our country, you can use those examples too. But are there consequences for not following this rule or for following the rule? What's the effect of a rule? Like, here's another example. I was late for school because I didn't set my alarm. One thing happened because of the other. So here's the two prompts. Number one is to explain the rule that you've thought of and why it was made. Then, secondly, you'll say, what effect has the rule had on you and others who must follow it? Use details to support your ideas. So, in other words, use examples for exactly what kinds of effects the rule has had, whether they're good effects or bad. So, just some example rules. Brushing your teeth. And I'm going to give you an example post that uses that rule of brushing your teeth. But here's some other examples. Raising your hand while you're in class. Buckling your seatbelt. That's a rule that's nationwide. Finish all your schoolwork. Maybe that's a rule you have at home, or maybe it's a rule in school. Take out the garbage. Maybe that's a rule you have at home. Maybe that's a chore that you have. Look both ways before crossing the street. Now, that's not a law, but it's kind of an unspoken rule that you learn from when you're young. So, really, the rule could be anything. It could be something that you deal with every day, or it could be something you know that other people do. Okay, so here's an example of what this discussion might sound like in case you're one of the first ones to write this discussion and you don't get to read other student discussion ideas. So, there's two parts to this question. So let's look at the first part. I chose the brushing the teeth rule. So here is what my example is for part one. I said, one rule I have in my house is that we must brush our teeth at least 2 times a day. This rule was made for a few reasons, but mainly because it's good dental hygiene and no one wants to have bad breath or stained teeth. So that's my what the rule is and why it was created. Part two was to talk about the effects of this rule. So here's my example. There are many good effects of this rule in my life. Most of all, because I brush daily, I've never had a single cavity. That's actually true. When this rule hasn't been followed, on the other hand, there have been bad effects. For example, my son had to have 8 cavities filled at once. Now he takes very good care of his teeth. So hopefully you can see how that's a rule and some of the effects of the rule when it's followed, when it's not followed. I hope you found this quick little video helpful. Just as always, if you get stuck on a discussion or an activity, we have a few middle school teachers that can help you. Um, I think we're done. Write your draft in a Google Doc. We always recommend that you start off in Google because it can edit for you. It can catch your spelling mistakes. It can catch your grammar mistakes. I use it all the time to catch any simple errors that could have been caught that would bring your grade down. And do share with a teacher to help you revise or to come up with ideas. That's why we're here. It's what we love to do. All right, best of luck, sixth graders. And I look forward to